Hello, and welcome to the Argyle Financial Controller Leadership Forum, Redefining Traditional Finance. My name is Nick with Argyle, and it's great to have everyone joining us today. I have some important information to share with you, and then we'll turn the floor over to our esteemed opening keynote speaker. First, I would like to take a moment to thank today's sponsor, Bill. Our sponsors are committed to providing you with valuable content and a great overall experience. At any time during today's event, you can visit their virtual booths from the main agenda page, which include complimentary materials, information, and meet and greet opportunities. We also welcome you to stay socially connected during today's event. For those of you who are active on social media, please use the hashtag Argyle Digital and follow us on X, formerly Twitter, at Argyle Exec Forum. Also, be sure to subscribe to Argyle on the YouTube for exclusive access to all our past events. I would like to take a moment to touch on our content neutrality policy, which we have curated based on the feedback we have received over the years from our members. We have worked closely with our speaking faculty to ensure that you receive a set of balanced and neutral viewpoints throughout the session today, and we appreciate our members' support of this policy. Finally, and most importantly, we want to hear from you. So during each session, we encourage you to submit your questions and comments in the Q&A box on your screen. Following each presentation, we have set aside time for our speakers to weigh in on your questions. Thank you again for joining us today. Now let's get started. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce our speaker, Elizabeth Sanlante, Corporate Controller for Smithfield. We're super excited to have Elizabeth for her opening keynote presentation titled Beyond Numbers, How AI and Automation Are Redefining Finance Leadership. Welcome, Elizabeth. Over to you.
Thank you, Nick. And good morning, everybody. I would like to start with a story from my own life. Um, a few years ago, I entered to a room with a thick binder of sheets of a spreadsheets with hundreds of hours of work and weeks of preparation. By the time I presented, half the numbers were already updated. But fast forward to today, the CFO in one of my groups enters the room with a tablet, opens VI, powers VI, and a dashboard. It means that the time has changed. It is not the finance that has changed, but how we lead today. We do not go from we go from spreadsheets now to live information. So that's why we're here today, because finance is no longer just about reporting the past, it's about shaping the future. Why finance must transform? Well, um, AI, sorry, I'm a little bit nervous today, and I didn't my notes. Well, why finance must transform from a cost center to strategic partner? Because we mentioned before, we have changed the way we are leading, and we are coming from static reporting, lots of spreadsheets, ERPs that are distributed that are different from one company to others. So we have now to lead being as partners. The boardroom priorities is AI, automation, and real-time insights. We have to use technology in our advance. From my journey in with past companies, I led digital leadership across 17 countries. But how did we decide to change from static reporting to automation and using AI? Let me tell you a story of my own. When I was leading the Latin region, I used to oversee 17 countries that have different ERPs. They have different currencies, different culture. Everybody has their own way to do things. So you may imagine how difficult it was to report numbers, to be in compliance, and to be sure that you are reporting the right information to your shareholders. I may ask the question to you: how many of you feel in your finance team spends more time compiling data than analyzing it? That's what happened to me and to my team back a few years ago. We spent weeks of work trying to compile data that was decent because we were not sure that it was accurate at the time that we were presented. And after all that, we have the information was outdated already. We went from data overload to data insight. We had a real problem, as I explained before. We went through a lot of scattered ERPs where every country has their own ERP. Everybody had their own way of doing things. We worked with manual spreadsheets trying to compile information. I bet that this is happening to many of you on this session. But then we went to a business case. We had to solve this problem. Risk. Risk was in compliance, information out of date, long hours of work, a team that was not happy to do that kind of things. So we evaluated SAP FICO and Hyperion implementations. Also helped with automated data consolidation. The results were evident. We had timelines cut, errors reduced, and real-time dashboards for the CFOs to report. You may ask yourself, where do I start? I mean, yes, we are acknowledge that we have a problem, that we have long hours of work with manual spreadsheets. I would say that start where the pain points are high, but the visibility is low. In my own experience, I started with P2P or the Q2C and R2R, as they are nerve of the company. They record all kind of information from cash collections to revenues to all kind of information for the CFO. So we established GBS centers across Latam and eliminated redundant work. How did we do that? We implemented these systems, SAP, as I mentioned before, with help with Power BI dashboards and Hyperion implementation as well. We have to train our people because at the beginning they have a mentality of resistance. Okay, this is gonna take our jobs. People are gonna go home because now you have everything automated. But the way that the leadership approach changed meant a difference. Teams shifted from transactions to analysis, enabled scale without headcount increase. So we instead of instead of eliminating people, we evolve them. We upgrade our people because instead of spending long hours of work, they were able to be part of the strategy. They were able to add value to the company when they produced cash flows. They had insight into the business. They were able to analyze the risk and spot opportunities right on the time. This aromatization in LATAM helped us to recover about 50 million US dollars per year in VAT credits. This is the impact that we had in the first year that already paid for all these change. So when your CFO or your board members ask you, well, how do you come to me with this project when the ROI is not immediate? I would say that it's not all about cost, but about upscaling and unlocking opportunities. So, the role of AI and financial decision making. You may think about AI as a journal, let's say a junior analyst that can process a mess of all data in short time, but yet leadership insight is needed. So it will help you to make predictive analytics, evaluate risks, assess financial impact, and convert complex financial data into accessible narratives. You may ask yourself also, what about compliance? I mean, sometimes when we change systems, compliance is an issue. But if you do it right, you embed compliance right into the changes, right into the automation. And in my experience, the best audit report was after changing the systems, after automating all the processes in our company, because the controls were embedded into the systems and people were trained correctly to approach these changes. With Power BI and AI, we went beyond dashboards. We changed from static reports to predictive insights. We had KPIs that were updated at online. I mean, as it happened, we had real-time risk alerts. In that way, our leaders were able to spot the opportunities in the market. You know that market is moving in seconds. So when you have right information online, I mean, you are able to make great changes in your business. As I mentioned before, there is a myth that AI replaces people. But I say, well, no, it unlocks the value in your people. It uh, changed them from key enter, from working with spreadsheets, to be analysts, to create opportunities, to assess risk, and to improve your business. Upskilling and coaching, building a data driven culture. So, when you have systems that work according to your business, um, you are based on data. You are able to produce information for your leaders and able to take decisions on the spot without having to work for weeks, or without having or worrying about the quality of your information. I ask you, and keep this question in mind, what finance activities in your company do you wish could be automated tomorrow? Probably tax, probably cash application, um, AP. I mean, there is a lot of opportunities there. Uh, what lessons should we take from an AI and a transformation process? We should align roadmap to business strategy, not IT trends. And this is something very important. Many companies leave their digital transformation to the IT department. But I mean, it is only a tool. That's the easy part. The really important part is to have leaders involved, is to have leaders convinced that this is what you need and that it will take you far and beyond. Also, when you make these changes in your business, when you go through a transformation process, you embed the controls into the system, you ensure SOX and IFRS compliance. You do not have to be worrying about the end of the month or at the end of the period if you are in compliance, or you have to go through all the year transactions to see what you did wrong. It gives you peace of mind. The digital transformation is a lead cross-functional change. It does not affect IT only or finance department. It goes through operations, sales, and even your customers. Your customers, you will see the difference when you go through a transformational process. You measure impact in cost, speed, accuracy, and insight. So all these that I have explained before changes the role of the CFO. The CFO is not a scorekeeper anymore. Is not a reporting person or a historian. It is now a predictive leader. It is an advisor, a business partner. From reporting to real-time decisions. This is the goal that you have to have in mind. And I have a quote here. The future of finance isn't about replacing people with machines. It's about freeing people to think, partner, and lead. So the takeaway that I would like you to be with you is automation isn't about reducing cost. It's about releasing value. Value from your company, value from your people. Technology doesn't transform finance, leaders do. And the power is in the partnership. Humans provide context, and AI provides scale. Thank you and for your attention during this forum. And I will turn back to Nico. If you have any questions, then we have 5 minutes for these questions.
Oh, great. Thanks, Elizabeth. Here's a question from the audience. Budgeting for automation can be tricky. How can finance leaders balance the need to invest in new technology with ongoing cost pressures?
Well, and this is a good question. Well, it's not only about cost, it's about the value that you unlock. Remember my story, my experience I shared with you that by go this transformational process, we were able to pay back just by recovering VAT credits in 50 million US dollars per year. So I think that cost is not the question. It's about the question should be how much can I unlock from my business?
Great. Here's another question. What pitfalls do you see companies fall into when implementing AI driven finance tools, and how can they be avoided?
Well, one of them, and important, is leaving this only to the IT department and not doing your due diligence. You have to understand where the pain points are. First, you have to work with your team, understand the processes, and then take the business into the system. Work with the IT team as a leader to understand the vision of your company. So you have to avoid that through communication, through patience, and also through training.
Okay, great. Here's another one. Many organizations rush to adopt automation, but not all see results. In your experience, what makes the difference between a successful finance automation project and one that stalls?
Well, thank you for that question. Um, well, with so for example, in the past, transformation didn't work because there were initial processes. But today, AI has evolved, and also knowing where the problems in your business are is the key. I mean, you have to go to those processes that have higher pain points. For example, the R2R process, the P2P process, or the Q2C. So, if you are able to identify those problems and define your objectives clearly and work with the IT department, I think that you could avoid those.
Okay, great. Here's another question. Finance leaders often struggle with choosing the right tools. What criteria should controllers use to evaluate whether an AI or automation solution truly fits their organization?
That's a good question. I mean, there is not one size fits all in this process. You have to know your business and understand your needs. That's the key one. And then evaluate different systems. You have to not a single system would provide you all what you need, but you have to identify what gives you the most based on your objectives. So understanding the needs of your business and knowing evaluating different systems at the time may give you the right answer to this question.
Okay, great. And here's another question. Um, do you foresee any problems in the future? There are employees that are worried about losing their jobs. How do you find a balance, and how do you let people know that their jobs are okay when AI is moving in so quickly?
And this is a real concern. People may think that AI is going to substitute them, that their jobs will be lost. But when you go to your people and you explain to them that this is not about replacing them, but upgrading them by releasing them from working long hours and also training them to the right skills that are going to be needed in the future, that will calm your people, that will transfer confidence to them, that they will not be replaced by AI, but that they will be advancing in their careers when they are coming from doing key entries, doing managing spreadsheets, to do real analysis and provide good insights to their CFOs.
Okay, great. And we have a couple minutes left. Is there anything that you would like to add in closing?
Well, yes, I would say that the digital transformation is real, and if you don't take decision today, your competitors will. Then it will not be about cost, but about surviving. Thank you.
Wow, great. And thank you again, Elizabeth, for an excellent keynote. And I want to thank everyone else for joining us today. This session, along with all of today's content, will be available on demand following the event. Our next session will begin at 11:35 a.m. Eastern Time, which will be a panel discussion titled The Evolving Role of the Financial Controller in 2025. Please click the join button that will appear on your screen to be redirected to the next session, and we look forward to seeing you there.